Good afternoon, Sergeant French.
Afternoon, Sarhan.
All right, so we got Sergeant French here in the hot seat to discuss the Army phone call a little more in depth here. So he's going to introduce us to what he tells his students when he discusses the phone call, the preparation before the phone call, and then go into the phone call. So Sergeant French, it is all yours.
Hey, team. So one of the first things I try and teach my students is shorthand for the rubric, right? So try and figure out what you need to write down on a piece of paper to ensure that you hit every step of the prospecting evaluation that you're going to be going over. So for me, when I do it, like when I did for the phone call last year, it was my name, Army, and then ask, right? So, hello, this is Sergeant French with the United States Army. Is so-and-so available, right? But this year, it's going to be a little different, okay? So we have updated the rubric to more reflect what recruiters are doing out in the operational environment. So the first step that you're going to have is establish contact with the lead using the required platform. So for the hands-on portion testing for the Master Recruiter Badge this year, your required platform for initiating communication with the prospect with the lead is the exact same one that we use at the Recruiting and Retention College. It's going to be over Instagram, right? So when you get your first piece of information, when you're getting ready for this event, it's going to be a name, an ed code, and more than likely an Instagram handle, right? So that's going to be the only blueprint information you have for this individual. However, when you go into your room where you're going to be evaluated, you're going to have an iPhone in front of you that has an Instagram account already pulled up on it, and you can go to the Instagram handle of the individual that you're going to be attempting to contact. And for the first time, you can actually conduct more blueprinting of that individual by what is on their Instagram account.
And this is a real Instagram, not some fake.
Correct. Well, it's a real Instagram account of a fake person.
Right. So, but if you should be somewhat familiar with Instagram before you come to the schoolhouse.
Yes. You're going to have to know how to send direct messages, how to look up individual accounts on Instagram, and then how to figure out what you can glean from an Instagram account to build on the blueprint information that you can utilize when reaching out to them to establish contact. And then you have to know when to transition from the Instagram account to the actual telephone call, because we are not authorized to go over protected information, the PII, via a social media network.
Right, because it's not
it's
encrypted
not.
or anything.
Yep. But really, that's the main change between last year and this year, is just that you're going to initiate contact via Instagram direct message, whereas last year you just made an actual phone call itself. And then you're going to have to get their telephonic contact information so that you then can transition to a phone call for the rest of the evaluation.
Okay.
And then really just when you write out your rubric, right, and you get that shorthand going all the way down to make sure that you don't miss any of the steps. When you're in establish trust and credibility, respect their goals. So the first one on that is use patience and show genuine interest while asking open-ended questions to gather leads, aspirations, dreams, and goals, right? It's a long-winded way of saying you need to ask them what they want to do, why they want to do it. Is there any other reason why they want to do it? How much is it going to cost them to do that? How are they going to pay for it? When do they want to do it? And where do they want to do it? So that's a total of 5 W's and 2 H's. So on your shorthand version, the way I like to do it is I write out 5 W's and 2 H's. And as I ask each one of those questions, I'm check marking one of those W's off till I make sure I hit all 5, and then check mark both the H's off. Further down, when you ask the 2-choice close, right? I can meet you this day, this time, this location, or this day, this time, this location, they're going to tell you no, right? Because you're going to have to overcome an obstacle. So overcoming an obstacle, that's another shorthand version we have, and it's 7 letters: O, R, J, F, 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 and then L, right? So that stands for, obviously, the reason you're saying that. Do you mind me asking why? They're going to give you some reason of why they don't want to do it. So you need to repeat that back to them, right? So you're saying that you don't want to sit down for an interview because you don't want to cut your hair, right? And then if they say yes, then you have to use the just suppose, right? Just suppose you didn't have to cut your hair to sit down with me. Then would you be willing to sit down? That's how you check for a smoke screen, right? So if they say, yes, I would sit down with you if I didn't have to cut my hair, you know that's the real objection that they have. But if you say, just suppose you didn't have to cut your hair to sit down with me, then would you sit down? And they say no, then that's not a real objection. Well, go back to the beginning. Obviously, you have a reason for saying that. Do you mind me asking what it is? My girlfriend doesn't want me to join. So you're saying, reiterating, you're saying that you don't want to sit down because your girlfriend doesn't want you to join. Yes. Just suppose your girlfriend was okay with you joining. Then would you sit down? If they say yes, then that's the actual objection. Now you're going into feel, felt, and found, right? Feel where you're coming from. I felt the same way when I talked to my recruiter, and my girlfriend had issues with it. But what I found out is that we're only dating, so it really doesn't matter what she wants because we're not married, and I may not be with her in another 2 weeks. Now that L is logic. Logically, I would hate for you to miss out on the opportunity to sit down and get this information on how to achieve your goal, passion, dream, or desire, and how I can help you achieve that, whether it be through your own means or through an Army enlistment, just because of the way that your girlfriend felt. So with that being said, I have this day, this time, this location, or this day, this time, this location. Which one works? Now, that's a really long-winded way, but that goes over the 5 W's and the 2 H's, which isn't specifically talked about on the rubric.
Right.
And it goes over working through an objection, which it doesn't specifically say exactly how to do that. Does that make sense?
It does. So some of the shorthand stuff that I wrote down, the 5 W's, how much I'll pay. So instead of 2 H or HM, HP, or J, FFF, L, 2 times, 2 dates, 2 locations. Also under established trust and credibility, I wrote 2 programs, because is that part of it too, right? 2 programs. So I wrote that down. 2 times, 2 dates, 2 locations. So I mean that's just some of the notes I took down from. You can't really see it too much from.
And the only other one I would say is during pre-qualify, write out Apple MDT and cross off one of those each time you go through one of those subjects so you know which ones you've hit.
I know as a grader, that's how I would grade too. I would just cross out each letter as the student would rattle off a question. I'm like, oh, ask a question about Apple, A's crossed off. You know.
Yep.
Law, L's crossed off. Education, E's crossed off. And that's how I know that they would have fulfilled that requirement for pre-qual and prospects. So if you're doing it, that would be helpful too. So what else? Follow-on questions, restate what the prospect has. I mean, as a grader for this, so you worked on the fair, you grade this probably more than just about anybody. Is there a set number of like follow-on questions that you're ever looking for, or certain areas that you look on for follow-on questions?
Primarily for me, you're using follow-on questions when you establish the initial rapport, right? So you say something you know about them, and then you got to ask the follow-on questions to just get more information about them. And then also, I also say follow on for when you're doing the 5 W's and the 2 H's.
Okay. But there's no like set number that you're ever really looking for.
No.
All right. And I think that's good. If you're ready to do a phone call. I'm ready to be your phone call victim.
Prospecting evaluation.
Prospecting.
Prospecting evaluation, right?
Prospecting victim. Yes.
Because for this, I'm going to be sending you direct messages via Instagram.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Hey, very
So
good.
first things first, you're going to be given the Instagram handle, the ed code, and the last high school attended of the individual. So I've gotten that information, right? I go into my room, I sit down, I got 1 to 2 minutes, fill out my rubric as much shorthand as I can get in there. And then I'm going to open up Instagram. I'm going to go to their Instagram profile, and I'm going to figure out what blueprint information I can grab from this individual. So to help me out, Sergeant Hand, what is the name of the person that I'm going for?
John Hand.
John Hand. Sounds really familiar. I don't know where I know that name. Okay.
He was a
And,
future soldier last year.
oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he got kicked out. So what's the ed code?
11S.
Senior in high school. What high school do they attend?
Hardin County.
Okay. And then obviously there's going to be a Instagram handle, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I wrote down my little Instagram handle. So that's what I'm going to go in with. Now I'm going to sit down. I'm going to write out my rubric. Get my rubric done. Now I'm going to open up Instagram, right? So I'm going to type in their handle, search them. I'm going to find their profile. So one of the first things that I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at their profile picture and see if there's anything significant. I'm also going to look at the previous 3 to 5 photos and see if there's anything I can glean from that, i.e., do they have cheer photos on there? Do they have band photos on there? Football photos on there? Can I see the clubs that they're in? Is there any military affiliation with anything they're posting? Try and glean information from that. Then the next thing I'm going to look at is their little description below their name of who they are and what they're about. So, Sergeant Hand, if I read that information on this Instagram account and looked at those photos, what would I see?
ROTC.
Okay. Does it say what position they're in, or can I see rank on their uniform?
Sure. Company commander. Senior year.
Okay.
Third year.
All right. Can I see anything else in the photos or the description of their hobbies, their interests, their likes?
Nope, that's just about it. Everything else very generic.
Pretty
High
boring
school kid.
senior, but okay.
Huh?
I said it's a pretty boring senior, but okay. I guess their life's ROTC.
That's it. Sure.
All right.
Works at McDonald's.
Works at McDonald's. That's a good one. So now that I have my blueprint information set up, I need to establish contact. So
It's not a real phone number either, a fake number.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
Hello, this is Sergeant French with the United States Army. Is John Hand available?
This is him, but you have to hold on a second while I plug in my phone because it's about to die.
Oh, okay, no problem, man.
Okay, I'm back.
Good deal, John. Hey, how's it going, man? I think we lost connection. Let's try and get Sergeant Hand. I have a feeling he didn't plug in his computer fast enough, and it died.